Okay, so fairly efficiently, without doing anything more than 180-degree turns, we're able to get this to the last layer. So, how are we going to do this one? This is the challenge of whether it's jumbled or not, but here's my technique on how to do this. Now, I'll tell you that I've already discussed the strategy, I've already discussed the algorithms, but let me go through the strategy. And I myself don't have a good consistent way of doing this. I've been able to solve it like this dozens of times just to test it, but here's the general approach. First thing to do with the top layer is get all the green ones here, solve all the centers. Now luckily without jumbling, this is done pretty intuitively. You can see this we can easily just bring in, bang, so that's good. Now this we need to bring into here. This one's already in, so let's just start moving it around. Now, remember in the curvy copter, there was a situation potentially where I simply couldn't put the next one in without doing a jumble move. Well, here's the good news with this one. There's so many sides here that I can always eventually find my way in. So this is in, and now let's see, we want to move the blue. You can see that this is already out, so we'll bat this blue out of the way, turn this up, move this blue in, and turn it in. This will coincide this, and all the time, 100% of the time, this has not been a problem. So I've got the centers. So here's the main hurdle, placement of the corners. Now here's my general strategy with this. What I want to do is, remember with the algorithm, one was held constant while the others were rotating around. So what I need to do is I need to coordinate it where one is in and the others are placed in the proper areas, but are in sync with each other, so that when I do the rotation, as I do that algorithm when I'm turning like this and going around, each one is not only going to shift, but it's going to rotate counterclockwise. So even if I have everything in, if I have, say, this oriented correctly and this oriented correctly, obviously we're out of sync. So first step is let's get one in the proper place, in the proper rotation, just one. And let's see what we've got. Now, if I were to move this around, I can look to see which ones will shift in the right position, and there isn't any. If I hold it here first, as I don't have any that's in, this can shift into here. So where's my cream, blue, and green? It's right over, what's right over here? Yeah, but this is not going to be able to shift in because it has to be green on top, so forget about that. Let's hold it here and find the orange, green, and cream. Orange, green, and cream is here. So for it to shift down into here, when I do the algorithm all the way around, my centers will not change in terms of relationship with each other. So I can deconstruct it, do the algorithm, and reconstruct it. So let's move it from here to here. What's going to happen is that this green is going to slide over here and it's going to be in. So I'm going to do the algorithm, spinning it around once, and this will slip into here, and I don't care what happens with these yet. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and finally 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. And as promised, this is in, but we have to reconstruct it. Let's get this back. This will come back here. This will come back here. And now you can see our centers are exactly where they were, and now this is in. You might be wondering about these bars. Well, in a non-jumbled scramble, don't worry about it. It just works out. So now let's take a look at the relative position of these guys now. I've got to get them in sync. So this one is supposed to come over here. All right, yeah, this one is supposed to come over here. This one is supposed to come over here. This is supposed to come here, and this is supposed to come here. So in this particular situation, they're kind of in sync. And one algorithm of moving this around will keep this here, and everything will be in the proper place, but not necessarily rotated. In other words, these are going to shift to the right place, but they're out of sync in terms of rotation. Because I can tell that this, when it comes to here, is going to be out. Because it would have to be the silver one here that'll come in order to be rotated right. So this will come in but be out. This will come in and shift, but this will be right. So this will actually be oriented right. This will shift over here and be right because the blue will shift over to here. So, and then this will come over here and it'll be out. So this will be in, out, in, out. That's what's basically going to happen with this. So let me show you what that looks like. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And just as predicted, well, not exactly as predicted, I guess. Made a little miscalculation. This is in, this is in, this is in, and these two are out. And this is typically what you're going to see. This is typically what you're going to get. Now, it might not have worked out that way. What might have happened is it might have been that when I did this step, these might have been all skewed around. If that happens, then you're just going to have to do the rotation algorithm that I showed you that basically holds, well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get this in and then another one in over here, and then hold it like this where these two are here and rotate these around by that other algorithm until things are kind of more in sync. So once you get it to this state, and if there's any questions regarding this last layer, let me know. I have a feeling I'm going to be revisiting this again. But let's use strategy now and talk about what this exactly means. I've got 3 that are in sync. By in sync, I mean that they're basically rotated in conjunction with each other. They're rotated similarly. So you can see these are all in sync. These two are out of sync. The way I see it is this. Every time it turns, when this comes over here, it's going to rotate counterclockwise. This over here is out. It needs to rotate clockwise. This needs to rotate, this needs to rotate counterclockwise. This needs to rotate clockwise. So here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do first is, these are in, but they're rotated wrong. If I were to hold this here, and I caused a rotation, these guys will still be in sync, okay? They're still going to be in sync, and this is still going to be out of sync. But this is going to be held constant. This is going to be held exactly where it is, which means it will eventually become in sync with these guys. So what I'm going to do is, if I were to do an algorithm that backs these up and then puts them forward again, my hope is that these will be still in sync with this being out of sync. These will now come forward again in their proper positions, but rotated inappropriately. And because this is out of sync, this will come back into here, but rotated right. So this will be out, this will be out, this will be out, this will be in, and this will still be out because it never moved, which means it's now in sync with these. So think carefully about what I just said, rewind it if you need to, but ultimately I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to do that algorithm that puts it back a step. When I put it back a step, because this didn't move, it's going to be almost in sync with these guys. These will still be out of sync. Then I'm going to move it back, which means this will hopefully be solved. So when I move it back, it's going to rotate counterclockwise, then counterclockwise. This has to rotate counterclockwise to come in. So here's what I'm going to do. If nothing else, you can memorize this. When you have two like this, go to the one that's on the left, turn it over here so that the one on the left is, the one that was on the left is now the one on the right, and this is going to be your base. This is going to be the axis by which you're going to rotate everything around. Do the algorithm holding it here. But what you want to do is you want to do the algorithm that backs it up a step. So this turns, and this turns. Doing the algorithm means that everything will back up a step, so then I can move it forward. My purpose is to try to move this, this one out and back and in a solved state, which will happen in this case. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, now I'm going to move these back, bang, zoom. Now let's take a look at what we did. What we did is we backed everything up. This now needs to go here, this needs to go here, this needs to go here, this needs to go here. But take a look at what we did. This will slide into here in a solved rotated state. This will be rotated right. These guys are going to be rotated out. They're in sync with each other, but they're going to be rotated out. They're not going to be rotated correctly. This one is also going to be rotated out. So with the next move, this will be in sync with these guys, and this will be in here, out of sync, but it doesn't matter because this will now be the one that we're going to rotate it against. So here's what I mean. Now we rotate it back to get everything back where they're supposed to be. 3, and looky here. Whew, panic there for a second. This is now in. These are all out of sync. Well, they're all in sync with each other. They're where they're supposed to be, but they're rotated wrong. So now I'm going to turn it here. This is going to be my new right side. And now all of these guys are going to have to be rotated back and then front again. So these are in the right place, but rotated wrong. So now I'll do the same algorithm that backs these up. This isn't going to move, and then we'll see if we can't rotate them all in. 3. Now rotate this back. Okay, now let's take a look at what we did. So now these guys need to be rotated in. They're all one off from where they're supposed to be. This needs to go here, this needs to go here, this needs to go here, this to go here. These need to be rotated back. But looky here. This will slide into here. Blue will slide here. This will slide here, and slide here, and that should do it. Let's see if it'll work. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3, and we did it! No jumbling required. Nothing like that. Complete 180-degree turns. So, to the viewer who challenged me, I believe his name is Crazy56U, I see your challenge, and this is what I got to show you. This is what I got for you. If there's any other scenarios in the top layer where you run into trouble by trying to coordinate things, let me know. That could be difficult, but if you follow these steps, usually it works out pretty well. But that's how to do it. If nothing else, that's how to do the top layer without any jumbling moves. It takes more time. It takes more rotation. I do recommend doing the double jumble maneuver, getting comfortable with that. It is easier, but in any case, for those who need it, for those who want it, that's how you do it. Thanks for watching.